Since the dawn of time, man has been curious. And for almost as long, the Vibes Broadcast Network has sought the truth. Investigate, discuss, explore. Okay, maybe in other episodes, but this one is just listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I have here Miss Debi Correa-Reberg, and we're going to talk today about crystals, gems, that kind of thing, and how that can help and benefit people in different ways. And I was explaining to her the reason why I wanted her on the show is I've noticed some other podcasters that have talked about this subject and said that it was a bunch of hooey, we're just all crazy and that kind of thing. But I've used them personally, and I know that they do have some properties about them that are beneficial. They use them in computers and all kinds of different equipment and electronics and things like that. And it's because of the vibration that is associated with it as well as the properties of it. But I think Debi can better explain things. So, but first off, just tell us a little bit about you.
Well, as you said, I'm Debi Correa-Reberg, and I've been working with crystals for probably about 12 years. I was trying to date back when I first started working with them. And it was after I'd gone to a paranormal conference, and there was someone there that was doing crystal healing and crystal readings, which I'd never seen. I'd done the tarot and I've done the, energy fields and that kind of thing, but she was actually correlating it with crystals that you might need to use. So that's what kind of kicked me off and got me started in it and got me researching what this is all about, because I'd never heard of using crystals for any kind of emotional healing or working on different areas of your chakras and how that all tied in. So that's kind of what got me started. I've been doing it for quite a while. And then I started my Facebook group about 3.5 years ago. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm doing, just working with people and helping them understand how the crystals work, why they work, and what they can do, to kind of improve and go along with any kind of healing you're doing in any other area. So,
well, one thing I think some people do not understand is that, our bodies, different things around us, we all are on a certain vibrational level.
Right.
This is scientific. I'm not just making this up. We actually, right. Your atoms and molecules, everything is on a certain vibration and frequency. And that's also my understanding about the crystals and the gems, correct?
Right. So as you said, everything vibrates. None of us are stagnant. Our energy is always moving, our atoms are moving, our molecules are moving. They did a study, if anyone's interested, in the effect of long-term vibration on the human body. And that's kind of where I started looking at that, because I wanted to know why different areas of your body vibrate at different levels and speeds. Because you would think, I'm just going to vibrate at a certain frequency. But they were doing studies for people that worked on heavy duty equipment. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to know what your base vibration level was and compare it to long-term exposure to heavy equipment, which is quite a vibration. So they started talking about the different energy or different parts of your body, and that got me interested in chakras and how the chakras relate, the different energy fields within your body and how they change depending on mood, illness, different states, having your chakras out of alignment. I know that sounds kind of woo-woo, but there is actually a different vibration for different chakras and a different level. So when you hear someone say raise your vibration, they mean think in a higher area of your chakra. So go from a fear-based thinking to an intuitive thinking to a positive thinking. And there's ways to do that with crystals.
Well, it's funny you mentioned about the heavy equipment, because that's what I used to do for a living. And
oh, yeah.
It's attributed to a lot of my health problems, the arthritis, yep. Mm-hmm. And some of the spinal problems and things like that. And I can tell you from getting jolted around on those things all day long, they do affect you.
Absolutely, they do. And they can, long-term exposure to that is why they started, trying to look at different ways to cushion your seats and cushion your, what kind of footwear should you wear since you're, feeling that vibration through your feet and all that kind of thing. So that's I thought, oh, so there is some science to this, because at first I was just really, unsure. I will say that the person that helped me with my own personal issues, she listened to my long medical story about what I might need to have done, and the doctors had said different things for me. And of course, this is not, I never say don't see a doctor. This is always in conjunction with medical advice. But I was having a lot of trouble with esophageal stricture and throat issues, and I thought I was going to have surgery. And she listened to me for about 5 minutes, and she's nodding her head, and she just kind of said, oh, that's very interesting, and it's all BS. And I thought, well, who are you? So she started telling me about my throat chakra, how to open that up, what to wear, what colors to use, what crystals to work with. And she said, talk to me in 2 months. And she gave me her phone number. And no joke, 2 months, I felt a lot better. And it was literally a blocked throat chakra, not able to say what I needed to say to people, that, kind of swallowing your emotion and all of that was causing a physical response in me. So that's, something I really thought I better look into this, because this is really, it's been an amazing change for me.
You wouldn't happen to have any crystals with you, would you?
Oh, I do. I have a bunch in front of me. So fluorite, I use that when I'm going to be speaking, when I'm going to be communicating with people, when I'm going to be studying for people. I ask people, if they're going to study for a big test, if they have an interview coming up, I have fluorite. Fluorite is really, really good to work. It connects the heart to the intuition and to the third eye, and also the throat, because you see it's got the green, the blue, and the purple in the rainbow fluorite. This is an excellent one for communicating, making sure, like if you're going to go on a job interview and you worry about stumbling on your words, or you're going to do a podcast, for example, you want to have it near you, because it helps you focus and helps you be understood. It helps the other person communicate. So it kind of shares that energy with the person you're talking to as well as yourself. So it helps you maintain what you learned. It helps you stay focused and be able to communicate. That's one of my favorites. It's also really a pretty color too. I really resonate with the blues and the greens myself. So I do have just pure Brazilian crystal. Interesting about crystal, they vibrate at 32,000 hertz, and we ourselves are around 800, 900 on an average. So this, when they say use clear quartz to raise your vibration, you literally meditate with this, sit with this, hold this, carry this if you want a pocket stone, and it will raise the vibration just based on the vibration of the crystal itself. So clear quartz is a really good one for enhancing any work you're doing. If you're going to be doing spell work, if you're going to be investigating, I also do paranormal investigations. If you're going to be investigating a place you're not really sure what the vibe is going to be, if you have a clear quartz, it kind of raises your own personal vibration and provides that, provides you the ability to think in your crown, in your third eye, and that helps you with intuition and understanding and connection to the divine. So you can start connecting to other realms with clear quartz.
No, quick question. Maybe you grab the wrong crystal or stone. Could it have a backfire effect?
No, it just will resonate with a different chakra than what you're working on.
Okay.
So I try not to ascribe to those dangerous crystals. I've seen a lot of stuff on TikTok lately about Moldavite. Moldavite is truly one of the first crystals that I held in my hand and felt a visceral physical reaction to Moldavite. It's a tektite. It's everybody calls it the alien stone, but it's a tektite. It was caused by a meteorite hitting Earth and causing melting, and there's little pieces of it everywhere. But TikTok is blown up with Moldavite, and people are saying that it has caused them to lose their jobs. It's caused them to lose relationships, and there's kind of a super powerful connotation associated with Moldavite. I did hold a piece. I have a ring that I wear when I want to raise my vibration, because it's a very high vibration crystal. And when I closed my palm around it, it literally felt like a bug was moving in my hand. And I had to open my hand really quick, because I thought, what the heck is that? but it is a very high vibration crystal, and it resonated with me. So there are people do say different things like, you know, Moldavite has ruined their life, or they even turn it the other way and say it's just improved their life tremendously. But I think it's your own intention too. And you know that, you know, from paranormal things and just talking to people, when they have an intention that's negative, you can kind of sense that. And if your intention is to scare people or to cause fear, then maybe crystals aren't for you, because they really are a high vibe item. You know, the stone has got a higher vibration than we do. So
why is it that we're drawn to certain ones?
I think it really depends on what areas of your life you need to work on. So for example, if you have an out of sync root chakra, you're living kind of in fear, you're a little more inhibited, you're shy, you're not able to take certain steps that you want to take to get to where you want to go. And if you start working with something like red jasper or anything with the red vibration, even Smoky Quartz is a grounding crystal. It gives you that sense of security and that sense of confidence and bravery and all that kind of thing. And it helps you to take steps in your own life to resolve those issues you may be having. So I think if you're a certain chakra is out of sync, and you can be out of sync in several at a time, you're drawn to those kind of crystals that can kind of help with that. And I always say, go with your gut. I mean, there's all kinds of terms that people use that relate to chakras, you know, go with your gut, trust your heart, listen to your head, that kind of thing. And it really is based on what you need to work on in your own life. So
have you ever had anyone tell you it's more of a placebo effect, you know, something
that's
along
all
that
in
line?
your head?
Yeah,
It's all in your head. Yeah. Yeah, you do. And I think that happens with anything that people are not sure of, and there's not a foundation for it. You know, you get naysayers in just about any discipline. So acupuncture has been around for thousands and thousands of years, and that's just basically directing your body's chi. Acupuncture is very, very popular now, but when it started, you know, became mainstream more here, there were a lot of people that said that was just hooey, acupuncture doesn't work. Well, they've determined that it does work. It does help to focus different energy fields within your body and cause your body to heal itself. So there's all kinds of naysayers all the time, and I just try to maybe give them a crystal and say, just try it. Because when the one lady gave me my, you know, advice and told me to work with this blue crystal, I was like, okay, that sounds great, you know. But I'm a little bit more open-minded because of the other paranormal things that I do, and, you know, tarot and all that stuff. I'm a lot more open-minded. But if people want to try it out, they should just try it and just see what they think. You know, there are a lot of people that say it's just, you know, it's all in your mind. A lot of things are all in your mind. You know, everything in life is in your mind. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, everything around you. I mean, everything you perceive.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah.
It's all up here.
Yeah.
So why not come at it with more positivity, and why not raise up your thinking and bring it more into the crown and third eye, you know?
Oh yeah. And my thought is even if it was all in your mind, it's still a positive effect on you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And I think, you know, when people say it's all in your head, okay, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, because it's helping me, and it's helped other people. I know I talk to people that are nervous about an upcoming job interview, and I say, carry this fluorite heart in your pocket if you're allowed to. Use it as a touchstone or a worry stone when you're taking your test or having your interview. See how it works, you know, see how it helps. Even if it was all in their head, they were confident, they went in there, they felt like they knew what the answers they needed to know, and they did fantastic and got the job. So I see it in my daily, you know, I talk to people every single day about crystals, and I see the positive effects that they have. So I'm convinced, obviously.
I find it funny because some of the people that say that it's a bunch of baloney Or also
Mhm.
the ones that, they'll wear a certain shirt or something to watch
Right.
a ball game because they think
Right.
it brings them
Superstition.
luck. Or,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
they don't realize that they're being affected by like color theory, for example, every single day, and they don't realize it. There's a reason why McDonald's is red and yellow,
mhm.
because it resonates with your primal chakras and says, oh, hey, I need to eat, and maybe I need to eat more, and maybe I need to go to McDonald's again. There's a reason for that color theory, and it relates directly to chakras, and it relates directly to instinct, primal instinct. So red and yellow resonate with your lower chakras, which are more primal. So, I mean, people are affected by it every day and don't even realize it.
Oh yeah. My primary color that I wear is always black. But
Yep.
I'm drawn to orange and white, and being in Texas and especially Austin, you know why? You got Whataburger and you got UT.
Exactly. Right. And then, things like black, they're protective. So when somebody's favorite color, and I wear a lot of black too, I'm wearing black today with a little bit of color, but I wear a lot of black too. But for me, that's a shield. That's
Yeah.
an energy shield. It's a block. It's a protective thing, and that resonates with your root chakra, because for me, I really like to feel safe and secure. And especially over the last couple of years, people are having this sense of insecurity, and I've seen it explode as far as color theory and crystal work over the last couple of years due to the pandemic and due to being stuck at home and being a little more isolated. So I think it's really interesting that people don't buy into it, but yet they're buying into it every day.
Uh-huh.
Even the colored vehicle you buy, it all
Right.
has to do with people have studied that for years, and there's people out there that dark blue banks, a lot of banks have a lot of dark blue, and that's, you feel secure with that bank because they have the dark blue, they know what they're doing. That's all, it's all color theory. So and
Yeah.
natural colors of crystals work directly with the chakras that work directly with those colors and that vibration.
Yeah, I know. I just feel more comfortable wearing black.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, like yesterday we went down to Dripping Springs and Driftwood where the
Mm-hmm.
river is. And I always find really cool rocks and stuff in that water.
Yep.
One that we look for, I think my wife said it's what is it called? Hagstone, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I have hagstones too. Yeah.
Okay, what do you know the significance of that?
Hagstones are created by the earth. Obviously, it's from water going or dripping or moving a certain way through a rock, and they've eroded holes into that rock.
Mm-hmm.
And that is supposed to be it's the force of nature showing up in a rock. So you think you have an immovable force, you have water constantly dripping on it, and it's created a hole in this very solid material. And that's supposed to be high energy, because it's actually created something different out of a rock, because the water has moved it, and water has changed it. I resonate with water really highly. I love being around the ocean. I love being around water bodies. If I'm stressed, I will run my dish water, do dishes so my hands are in water. And then there's a lot of stones that resonate. Like I have this orca agate, which is supposed to be reminiscent of the ocean and the actual orca whales. So it's got that kind of peaceful, calming, restorative effect. And that is directly related to water. So it resonates at the same rate as water. So, I mean, I think it just really, as far as the resonation or the vibration of rocks and stones, to have water affect them makes them a little bit more powerful. I think that's the theory behind the Hagstone.
It's really cool. You pick one up and you see this nice little hole going through it, and like, wow, that's so cool. Nature could do that.
Right. Nature's jewelry is what I always say. And I have a Hagstone actually hanging on my front door with a bell. So on my doorknob. So it gives positive energy to people that walk in. And that's another thing, crystals placed around the house can really affect the flow and the energy in the house. So I had someone who was constantly arguing with their children. And I said, it sounds like there's a communication problem. It sounds like there's they're feeling insecure. And so here's rose quartz. Rose quartz is it goes against the grain of the color theory a little bit, but it resonates with the heart chakra, even though it's pink. A lot of pink stones resonate with the heart chakra, and it can open up those feelings, and it can help you come back to that loving feeling that you've kind of lost with all the fighting and the arguing. So I do a lot of work with people on where to put stones. Put them by your bed, put them in your main source of communication area, put this in your kitchen, and that kind of helps raise and change the vibration in the room or in the property. So I also use them when I ghost hunt. So I gotta make sure that I have some protection with me and some third eye opening and that kind of stuff. So it helps with that too.
Now, can some of them actually absorb energy from you?
Some, like Smoky Quartz, I have that here too. Smoky Quartz can absorb the negativity, but the nice thing about Smoky Quartz is it transmutes it and reflects it back out in positivity. So this is a very light colored, champagne colored Smoky Quartz, and this is a DT shape. And the DTs, I like to carry these because they bring in the energy and reflect it back out. So the nice thing about Smoky is it will absorb, but then it transmutes it and sends it back out positive. I'm working with someone now that has insomnia, and their insomnia, in my opinion, they haven't said why, but what they feel is I think they have a lot of mind racing and a lot of, you're trying to fall asleep, but you have so much you've got to do and so much you're thinking about. And Smoky Quartz is great for that because it will kind of help you focus, bring that negativity, shoot out the positivity, and help you with your sleep.
Kind of like a prism in a way.
Yeah, this one is really shaped like one. And this is, I love all the reflection. This is a really good amplifier too. That's crystal quartz, but they use them in grids. Clear quartz, they amplify the energy of what you're doing. So I always suggest clear quartz. It should be the first crystal you get.
I guess I need to get one of those myself.
Yes.
What about hematite?
Hematite, I think, is really interesting because it's very breakable. Obviously, it breaks fairly easy. I have a hematite ring right here, and I have people that wear these, and then they suddenly break, and it's like they feel like it's taken a hit for them. So whether it's an energy hit, I had someone wear this to get some blood work done, and they were nervous, I should say, about having it done because they were scared of some bad news. And when they finished having their blood work done, the ring literally shattered. And she said, well, I guess it did what it needed to do. It took care of me in the time. I've had this ring probably for 2 years. It's never broken, but then I have people that wear it and it breaks and they feel, oh, it's done its job. It's taken care of me. It's taken the hit, and they're fine with it and ask for another one, basically. But I think it's really cool. It's lightweight, so you can carry it with you. And I think it's really, it's reflective, obviously. So you can, if you have a larger piece, you can kind of scry with it or meditate with it. But I think it's interesting that it has a tendency to shatter. So even though it's metal.
Right. And it's amazing because I had one and I had it for quite a long time, and I didn't bang it on anything. I didn't my fingers didn't swell up, and I just squeezed it and it popped. I mean, it just literally exploded on my hand. Yes. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I know, you don't expect it. And it literally has happened. And that just happened. I got the private message about it 2 weeks ago. And she'd had the ring for a while. So it shattered when she was done, and she felt better and more confident going in. She got really good results with her blood work, and it shattered as she was leaving, and she didn't bang it on anything either. So that to me is pretty interesting. I think it just builds up with energy, and then once it's done, and it leaves you. So
it's a crazy feeling because I mean it literally just exploded,
Right. Yeah.
Now, okay, so I know like some people will have 4-leaf clover or a rabbit's foot or something like that. That's supposed to be their good luck charm. But are there actual crystals and gems that can maybe draw good luck to you?
Yep. Anything green to me represents abundance. And that can be abundance in all ways. That can be abundance money wise. It can be abundance in your life with your family. It can be the sense of abundance when you look out into earth and see how beautiful it is in the spring. But abundance and that feeling of peace and quiet and confidence comes from your heart chakra. So green stones really are good for abundance. So I have mariposite, which is available only in one area of California, which is Mariposa County. But this is a really good one because it's got some quartz, which amplifies, and it's a really beautiful stone. And I just have a plate and I use it for charging different stones too, because I like to amplify their properties with good abundance. Every stone that comes in my house goes through a cleansing process and a boost. And then when I send it off to the new owner, I clear it. I say, you know, go do good and go do what you're supposed to do. Talk to my crystals mentally, and do what you can do to help the next person. So anything green, moss agate is a really nice one too. It's got chalcedony in it, or chalcedony, depending on how you call it. But green moss agate is good for prosperity. Pyrite is good for prosperity and abundance. Yeah.
I know some folks will go and they'll buy something like that, and then they come back and they say, well, I didn't get what I asked for. Well, maybe that's not necessarily what was drawn to you, what you thought in your mind was,
You need it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And maybe they are, if they're looking at it and only the abundance being money, they're only looking in prosperity being financial, then you're kind of missing the point. And that might be something you want to work on, and you want to take steps to make yourself, you're not going to go win the lottery because you bought a green stone, you know, but it could help you. If something's holding you back and you're sabotaging a relationship, you're sabotaging your self-sabotage, it can help you get past that. And that can help you, it leads to your abundance, whether it's, like I said, financial. Or I had a really interesting conversation with a psychic, well-known psychic, that picked me out of the audience during a ghost hunt. He was there as a guest. And I stood up, and I was really at a crossroads with my other career, which was in customer service. And I worked for a company that was an online company for many years, and starting working more with the crystals as a source of income and a living. And I said, I'm at a crossroads, and I just started talking, but I didn't say what. And he said, yeah, do it. You need to do it. Take the step and do it. And he said, I know you're wondering, is it going to pay your bills? Is it, what's more important to you, being happy and helping others, or staying in the job that's more secure? Do it 100%. And that kind of pushed me over into working with crystals full time. So I was held back by my own heart chakra, and I felt it kind of open up, you know, the and root chakra, felt that connection with that person. And it really sent me into a whole different path. So
His name wasn't Chip, was it?
yes, it was Chip, actually.
I met him in Houston, and also we went on a hunt in Ohio at the Ohio State Reformatory, and he was there. Yeah. He's good at what he does, but I for some reason I just don't gel with that guy.
Oh yeah. I have been to many events because I do the Strange Escapes, and I've been to many events where he's there, and I've never been chosen. But that day I just had that burning question, and he picked me, and you know, he knows who I am from all the escapes I've done. But I thought it may have just been the confidence boost I needed to do what I thought I should do. It may have just been enough to get me over that hurdle. But I felt like it really kind of opened me up and helped me have that confidence and the security to do it. So
yeah, like I say, he's good at what he does. That's for sure. Yeah. Now another question for some of us that are trying to take a more spiritual path and get closer. Do you have anything that can help you on that spiritual journey? Because I used to preach, and then I got away from God, but I think I was running more from the religion than I was the spirituality. And I feel like
the organization of the religion itself. I'm more spiritual. I was raised Catholic, but I'm more of a spiritual. That's why I consider myself as a spiritual person. And I'm open to all, like right now I have a Buddha behind me, but I'm open to all kind of connection to the divine is what I call it. So working with your crown chakra, is going to help with that connection to the divine. When your crown chakra is out of alignment, you have that loss of connection to spirit. You have that loss of connection to divine. You start wondering, is there anything really out there? It can cause like a lack of even joy. Things you really used to enjoy doing are shot. You just don't enjoy them anymore. So working with the crown chakra, and that's anything purple or the clear quartz, anything with a high vibration, that's the highest vibration in your body is your crown chakra. It's 768 hertz is where that resonates. That's a high vibration of your body. For example, your root, which is your base, is around 432 hertz. So working with purple, clear quartz, indigo, anything that will kind of raise that mentality up. So you've seen people that are empathic put a hat on to block spirit coming through or divine guidance coming through. And that's literally just a physical barrier to their crown chakra. So working with the crown can really, really help make that connection again. I have people that have lost their way, have suffered some kind of a loss of a child, loss of a pregnancy, where they really start questioning, is there really anything higher than me? And working with the crown chakra can really help bring that back.
For me, in 97, lost my father. And then 3 years later, it was my little brother. I think my little brother passing was like the breaking point for me.
Right.
And I had a falling out with my preacher. It just turned me off the church. It was just dogpiling. And then wasn't too long after that, one of my best friends passed away. My marriage fell apart, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, why am I even trusting in God? And, at this point, and totally went the opposite direction. And over the last few years, I feel like I'm getting drawn back to God.
Back over there.
But I don't want the religion, like the church, because I've gone to so many different ones and everybody's got their own little set of rules and beliefs and things. And I'm like, what does this have to do with God? Why am I not resonating with God himself?
Right.
So I want to get closer to him and not so much this man-made stuff.
Right. And God and divine and, higher power, all of that, it's all the same. It's just different people's interpretation of it. So I don't know if you've heard John Tenney speak, but he literally talks about how he was involved in a exorcism and they brought in a Buddhist priest and he was like, what the heck does that have? And he said, don't you know, it's all the same. Up here is all the same. It's just how you connect with it. So I haven't gone to church in quite a while, but I would if someone wanted me to go. I don't have anything against it. But I resonate more with spirit and the higher power personally, just how I do it, whether it's meditation, whether it's, and meditation is basically prayer, and stating your intentions is basically prayer. And, it's so personal. It is so personal. So I feel like if you're not resonating, look for something else that might help you resonate, because if it's not going to an organized church service or an organized, get together to meditate, there might be some work you can do with the crown chakra to kind of get you back in touch and get you more comfortable with it. Because it is, it's like rekindling a relationship. Yes. When you've kind of fallen away, it's starting over and it's trying to build that trust again. And you have this, what's going to hit me next kind of mentality. So that, even if you work with root to kind of get that sense of fear gone and then move on to the crown, I think that could really help, help you be ready for that kind of connection.
And one thing I wished I could make people understand how I feel about it. But when I get in nature and I put my feet in the water and I'm surrounded by the trees and the animals, the plants and flowers, I have a whole different mentality.
Yeah. What it does is breaks down and gets you away from all the noise, all the pollution and all the noise. And I don't mean literal pollution, but all the mind fog and brain fog and interruptions and nagging. I love to go out in nature. My daughter and my son both are absolutely addicted to going out. And my daughter's a photographer, so she goes out, takes pictures of everything nature. And some of those pictures, they just move you. You're just like, oh my gosh, I just want to be there. I want to be where that is. I want to be in that field, and there's different vibrations. You've heard of Sedona and ley lines and all those different places that people go to kind of get that connection. And those are high vibration places. So I see how that all kind of goes together and gets you away from the noise pollution and sound and cars and honking and road construct. All that stuff just brings your vibrations down. So going out and being with nature and as it was created, and grounding, literally grounding is putting your feet in the ground, on the ground. That's literally grounding yourself. Looking up in the sky and watching the clouds. I do cloud scrying, as crazy as that sounds, but that's something I love to do. I go out and look at shapes, and I'm not saying, oh, that looks like a puppy. I feel different things from clouds, and I have it helps me know what to help people with next, or it helps me understand why there might be a broken connection and how to get that flowing again. Because you can have broken connections within your chakras, and that can really hold you back. So
I find it amazing that you can go out into nature, you can put your feet either in the grass or in the water, and you can literally, if you allow it, just let everything go.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you leave, you have this relaxed feeling. Like it's just, you can't explain it. You really can't explain it.
It's restorative. It's restorative, and it brings you back to your center. And that is really, really difficult to combat in all these different things that you need and negativity you see. And a lot of times I'll just tell people, take a break from social media for a little bit, because you're all involved. You get keyboard warriors that kind of try to take you down. And for some reason, they're just really struggling with someone else having a different idea or a different opinion or a different lifestyle. Leave that for them. Leave that for them to deal with and walk away from it. Don't argue with people on the internet, because you're not going to change their mind. A lot of them, maybe you can explain yourself a little better and they might understand. But if it just continues, that's just lowering your vibration, and you don't want to go to that place,
Well,
so
people need to understand. Look, if I don't like something, it's just I don't like it for myself. That doesn't mean that you can't do it, or if that's your lifestyle or whatever. Hey, you do what makes you happy. It's just not, it's not for me. That doesn't mean that I won't like you or anything. That's just not what I would do, because I don't want to do that. Don't think that I'm bigoted or something. That has nothing to do with it.
Right. And it's just, there's, have you ever walked into a room and felt really welcome, and then conversely walked into a room and felt really like, okay, this is not good juju? That's all vibration, and that's all how you resonate with people. And you may meet someone that you would never think that you would ever vibe with. They just live completely opposite of how you do. They're just a different cat, and you meet them in person and spend a few minutes with them, and you really start to get along, and you're like, hey, I really kind of want to hang out with this person. Your vibrations are meshing, and that's kind of the goal, right? Is to mesh with people and to be part of a bigger picture. I know that sounds kind of corny, but you think about, you can't live an individual solo life. You really can't. I mean, you'll start going into depression, and you start, you saw a lot of that happen during the pandemic when people were so isolated, and there's a higher incidence of depression and a higher incidence. You need people, you need nature, you need to get out, you need to experience life in different ways. And so when you're limited in your acceptance of different things, it can really affect you physically and mentally and all of that. So try to grow a little bit, meet somebody you never thought you'd talk to, or interact with somebody at an event that you just think is kind of wacky or maybe not not your jam, but you talk to them and start, vibrating with them, and then you all raise up. We all raise up like a boat in water.
Like I say, I'm not prejudiced. Some of my best friends are Houston Texans fans, so
yes. Oh my goodness.
like you said, that I think that would change the whole vibration of the world if we could all do that. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we'll be able to get everybody on the same page, but we are communal. We have to interact with other people.
Yeah.
Just going up to someone and saying, hi, have a nice day, or, acknowledge someone can change someone's vibration. You could.
Exactly. Yes. Have you ever had someone just say to you, hey, I really like your shirt, cool, and walk past you and just you never see him again? It still gave you that boost and that bump, Conversely, it takes just as much energy, muscles, and mind work to say something nice as to say something negative. And I really, really feel that if somebody is constantly negative, it's about them, and you have to kind of do what you can to help them. But after a while, you just kind of have to, and that's the thing, with the relationships where you've probably had people fall away, you don't talk to anymore, you don't see anymore. Used to be your best friend, you don't even talk to them anymore. And that's just all part of growth and raising your own vibrations and leaving them where they are,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, there are some people in your life that they keep their vibrations low. They're doing things that you wouldn't necessarily want to do anymore,
right?
Because you want to evolve.
Right.
I'm not in high school anymore, and I can't just party and drink and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
right.
not me.
Right. Yep. And it can, that all lowers you down. And being able to come from a place of understanding and empathy is huge. Leaving them where they are, but leaving them in a positive way, and just letting them go on and do what they need to do and hope for the best for them is really helping you grow.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to save somebody that doesn't want to be saved is pretty difficult. You think about the drowning theory, if you're trying to save someone who's drowning, it's likely that they are going to drown you too. So you have to do what you can to help them out, and then maybe leave them on the path.
My saying is I have family and friends that I would love them from afar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm still here for you if you need me, but I can't
Yeah.
be around that all the time.
Yeah.
It's nice when you see other people want to evolve, and I want to bring them with me, but if they don't, I just can't.
Yeah. And sometimes they're not ready. And if they're not ready, there's not a lot you can do other than, love, like you said, love them from afar and hope for the best for them. And if you see them making positive steps and taking positive changes, then encouraging that as much as you can,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then surrounding myself with more positive people, more people that are trying to get to that higher vibration. I find that I'm kind of getting sucked in and going along with them,
Right. Right. And, that's it's naturally happened in my group. I have the Facebook group, and it's a private group. I ask people a couple of questions to join, but it's basically, I don't vet, it's not that I'm not going to let them in if I don't like their answers, but I just kind of want to get to know them a little bit before they join, have them join, and see what we can do as a community. And I've seen so many healers and helpers and positive people in that group. It's just amazing. We, try to lift each other up, and people share memes, and people tag each other in different posts and say, hey, you were just talking about this. Maybe this is the crystal for you. Hey, you were talking about being nervous about your job interview, grab some fluorite. They have all these people that are helpers in the group. And it's just been an amazing thing to watch. It's not all about sales. It's not all about acquisition. It's about figuring out what's going to help the next person. And a lot of people in the group are exactly like that. And it's been great to see how that's kind of grown and brought like-minded people together. That's the best part of it, I think.
Well, it can be difficult. And I mean, it's sometimes difficult for me. I'll be the first one to admit to try to stay positive when you have a negative interaction with someone.
Oh, yeah.
But you also think that sometimes if you connect with someone, or you just, that one positive thing could be the difference from that person just giving up,
Exactly. Yeah.
How many times, and you may never see it at all, that you go and you say something positive to someone and they were ready to end themselves, and they're like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go on.
Yeah. A lot of people are living that way right now. A lot of people are having a lot of struggles for different reasons. There's been a lot of loss. There's been a lot of job loss. There's been a lot of insecurity and negativity, and it's global. You see it right now. So people are having a hard time, and they are struggling, and they are needing to be lifted up. And, if it's a song, that brings me to, when I said song, it reminds me that John Lennon, his song Imagine, he recorded in the Love Hurts 528. And it's just interesting that he would record in that specific vibration level that hits you right in the heart. And that's a good song to kind of remind people that, we're all united, and the energies can mesh, and you can help someone, like you said, just by saying a kind word, or just complimenting them, or letting them in line at the grocery store, or whatever. There's so many little small things you could do, those random acts of kindness. As you said, you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know if they were going home and getting ready to write a note to somebody and be done, and be out. And that kind thing might have just kind of pushed him back. Maybe I'll give it another day. So,
well, anybody that's out there, if you're watching this, you're listening to this, we're talking about vibrations, because that it does work. In like you just said, the music, you could tell if there's a song that you really like, that it's upbeat, that can bring your mood up, just like you can listen to a song that's a little lower beat, something sad that it'll make you sad. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to some blues songs that have just bummed me out to no degree, but then I'll turn something kind of poppy on, and all of a sudden I'm happy again. This is what we're working with, is vibrations. We want to raise your vibrations, because it will make you happy. It will bring some comfort to you. And Lord knows we need that. This world is upside down right now. There's so much negativity going on, so many factors that are just going against us. And we fill ourselves with the negative stuff on television, on YouTube, on the radio, whatever. We need to bring some positivity, and that's what the show is about. And that's why I had Debbie on. I wanted to know about these crystals and how they work, and I wanted to maybe resonate with someone out there and say, you know what, I'm not going to give up just yet. So
that's exactly the goal.
And so if someone wants to buy some crystals from you, how can they do so?
My Facebook group is primarily what I sell out of right now, and it's called Sticks and Stones Magic Treasure Chest. There's a ton of sticks and stones out there in the groups, but it's the Magic Treasure Chest part that is me. And you're welcome to join. I do ask a couple questions. One is just your email, which I do not share with anyone. I don't have a platform to share it, but it's so I can invoice you, really. But I would really love to help whoever's struggling. And every single month I send crystals out to people that maybe can't afford them. They're not going to be big, giant, gorgeous pieces, but if you're needing a clear quartz, and if you're needing to start, just reach out to me. There's a lot I can do to help you. If there's resources near you to get crystals, I'm always I work with a lot of different people, and I have a lot of different connections for crystal shops and people that they might want to go to a neighborhood crystal shop and start. I'm always happy to help people figure out where to start, what crystals to use, where they might be struggling. Yeah, just reach out to me. I'm here, and you can message me, and you can all through my Facebook page.
Is it the only social media that you have?
I have Twitter, but I don't do too much with my Twitter other than like different people's tweets. But on Instagram, I'm just at Debi Correa-Reberg. Okay. And I have, I post pictures of different crystals that I brought in, and different, talk about the different spheres and different things that I bring in. I have a huge inventory, so try to get the word out and get people to kind of look at things differently, explain the different properties, that kind of thing.
I think Debbie owes me, because how much money my wife spends.
And she just got that killer moss agate tower. Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah.
And that's a very earth related crystal, so I'm not surprised that resonates. If you guys like to go out into the nature part of it, that moss agate is wonderful for that reconnection if you're not able to get out.
You should see what we brought back from the river yesterday. It was quite amazing. some of the stones that just had natural blacks and greens and things in it. It was,
yeah.
I mean, like the texture of it being so shiny and smooth and those things. I don't know. It's just, I find myself every time I go out there, I find something that I like and I have to bring home. I had so much in my pockets yesterday, my pants nearly came down.
Yeah. My daughter, when she was little, she's really lightweight. My dad said to her, "You better put a rock in your pocket so you don't blow away." And she literally did that, and that she loved rocks. So that's kind of been a lifelong thing, I think.
Well, I believe that they work. And even if it's psychosomatic for you, at least try it. What could it hurt? I mean, if it has a positive outcome, at least try it. So I'm going to put the link to your Facebook page in the description so people can just click on it and go. Yeah. And Debbie, I thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. It's wonderful.
This really means a lot. And
great.
For those of you who are new to the channel, thank you for stopping by, and please subscribe, come back. For those of you who are regular, thank you for your support, because it's because of you we do what we do. And I hope this resonated with all of you. And until the next one, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network